Alright lads, so it's another Bleach Rebirth for Souls Monday. Today we have the character that I was expecting to see, Halibel. And it has been brought to my attention that I believe she is rocking the anime design. So she has been censored. Or more so again, they want the anime design, which honestly probably makes sense because the manga design is definitely a bit more crazy. So we have Gage, Aura Gage. We aura farming against Toshiro. And we have a new map. This is in Karakura Town. Nice to see that we are in the air. We did have a Karakura Town map before, but that was in the ground. So this is actually pretty cool to see. Nice. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Nice. I like her resurrection design, even with the anime design going with it. Oh, that's gonna be a good finisher. Again, with the time that we have to take in this trailer, I literally read nothing there. But let's rewind it and see what this character has to say. So Tres Espada, whose goal is to have a world without sacrifices. She becomes stronger the more she attacks enemies in a combo. So I guess we are about to reach the gauge effect. We have seen a few gauge characters thus far, and every character kind of fills up the gauge differently, but this one is strictly from the looks of it when you are dealing combos. If we have a closer look, however, we have the aura gauge accumulates when Halibel attacks land on the opponent. When the gauge accumulates over 50%, the attacking power increases and the performance of each move will be enhanced. The gauge will gradually decrease when an attack doesn't land for a certain period of time. Some of those... Halibel got me choking. Some gauge characters, however, do lose the gauge or percentage of the gauge when they are attacked, so I do like the idea that the only way for her to decrease the gauge, or more so the only way she's going to lose some of that gauge progression, is by not dealing damage. So you aren't punished for taking any attacks yourself. You just gotta make sure you're keeping up that pressure and constantly dealing damage to your opponent. So I'm already liking it from what I'm seeing thus far. If she's gonna be like an aggressive character, I'm kind of here for it. And I guess it is nice to see a base from Halibel. Before BBS, by the way, even though that game is almost 10 years old. But having a look at her first spiritual pressure move, let me move myself to the right as to not block the text. But we have spiritual pressure move 1, Ola Azul, a long-range attack that charges the spiritual pressure to the blade and then fires. The damage is not great, but it is useful to accumulate the aura gauge and keep the foes at bay from a distance. So I'm liking the idea of it. It does come out relatively fast. I'm pretty sure if you catch the opponent off guard, you're going to be able to very easily get that attack in. Unfortunately, we don't get to see her signature move, and since I am recording this on Monday, we won't know what her signature move is until like tomorrow, or by the time I cover a video on Rebirth for Souls will be next week. But I do like the idea of spiritual pressure move 1. It's more so just there to continue to build up the gauge if you are playing an opponent that is far away and trying to keep their distance, because they know if you're aggressive and you're getting those attacks off, you're going to fill up the gauge. So I'm liking the usefulness thus far of the spiritual pressure move 1. Do want to see what her signature move is though. When it comes to the second spiritual pressure move, which we only get one example of that, we have I'll Show You, a triple strike combo attack that executes a large rising slash. The aura gauge can be greatly accumulated if it does land, but it can be guarded, so you must be careful when to attack. So basically, it's not unguardable, like we saw with Noritora last week. To be fair, most attacks, besides a certain few, aren't guardable. So like, that's not really that big of a deal that it can be guarded. But to be fair, I guess you do need to make sure you land it. But I do like thus far from the 2 attacks that we have seen, her spiritual pressure move 1 and 2, is that they're all based around the gauge effect, filling it up. Slowly filling it up if the enemy is playing too far away, but if they get too close, then you can do this attack and fill up the gauge even more. And if we have a look at the one example they do show us here, after this one, it does look cool. I'm liking the yellow aura she has going for her. But now let's see her resurrection, which is obviously the best part about her, right? Surely. I'm liking the transformation thus far. I don't think I've been disappointed with any resurrection transformation. The only transformation I've been disappointed in was Ikaki for not doing that iconic pose. So having a look at her awakening, Halibel's performance is enhanced by releasing her resurrection. By increasing the attack performance, it would be easier to push through the opponent. Also, Halibel's weapon would change from a dagger to a long sword and the reach will extend, making the option extend to mid-range. So more range is what you are getting with this character when she does resurrect. Obviously, her attack performance is also going to be increased. So more damage, easier to attack. It makes sense with the whole idea that she wants to be used with this aura gauge. The thing is though, they mentioned here that she has a dagger. Do we even consider that a dagger? Like, I mean, it's quite the big sword to be fair. I know her, obviously, resurrection sword gets a lot larger, but would we even consider that a dagger? Either way, let's have a look at some of the attack animations here. Nothing super crazy because they don't show too much of a resurrection state. But we do get a nice little follow-up attack that unfortunately they cut right out of. Now, to be fair, do I recognize any iconic attacks here? I'm not entirely too sure. I know she has the one move where she like slashes down, but I don't think we get to see that, to be fair. So, characterized by overwhelming, unrelenting attacks that will leave the opponent no time to rest. So, personally, I'm liking what I'm seeing thus far. Where am I going to rank this character on our weekly tier list in terms of how excited I am? I think, honestly, I might put Halibel in potential main. In terms of gameplay, she didn't look super unique / crazy, but I did like the visual she had going for her, and I am liking the aggressive playstyle. I have no idea how I'm going to play in this game when I get my hands on it next month, and obviously I will be trying out every character to find out what I like the most in terms of playstyle, but I do like the idea of just being super aggressive. It's also Halibel. I'm a big fan of all the Espada, to be fair, especially the big three, so likely she will be in my rotation of characters that I just naturally main. Gonna put that at the bottom of potential main, though. I like what I'm looking at, though, and hopefully when the game does release, she is a pretty fun character. With Halibel released this week, it was expected. They did show Noritora last week, so the assumption right now is that they are going to be counting down the Espada. Halibel this week, Barugan next week, and then the week after, finally Stark. I think that then leaves us with like 2 characters left remaining. I am assuming Dangai Ichigo is one of the characters. Would love for notable character announcement. I'm still kind of holding out hope that all the Espada will be in the game, but it's looking less likely now. And I guess while we are here, we did get confirmation of another map playable in Rebirth of Souls, that being Ichigo's Inner World, where we do fight White Ichigo. And White Ichigo itself, it's a bit iffy in terms of really be playable, because I believe from what I saw, his moveset was basically just the Shikai Ichigo that I have at the bottom here, but using a White Ichigo skin. But he did have unique animations when destroying the Kompaku, so he might be playable. He could be story mode only, but if anything, it might just be a skin to this Ichigo that also does change the appearance of the Kikon attacks. It's hard to say though, but he definitely doesn't look to be a super unique character, so I'm expecting maybe it's gonna be like a hidden, unique skin that this Ichigo can potentially use. And if that is the case, I put this Ichigo so low on my list because I just think this Ichigo is so much cooler. Why would I use this Ichigo? But if he does actually get a white skin that lets him play as White Ichigo, that would definitely move him up a bit. But right now, until that's confirmed, he's going to be right at the bottom. And even if we do get a Dangai Ichigo, depending on how he does look, this Ichigo will likely still be my first go-to character if I can play with him like on day one. I guess one unfortunate thing going back to Halibel is that she is censored. They are using the anime design. That was something that we were kind of hoping they wouldn't do because it looked like, you know, Neliel was also uncensored, and also especially Yoruichi Soifun, they didn't have the anime censoring with the white underclothes. The assumption or more so hope was that they would have also done the same thing for Halibel because the anime did censor her manga design, but I'm not entirely surprised that they did censor her because her being uncensored is a lot different compared to the other characters, right? She has way more on display. And since they did uncensor the other characters, I'm assuming they wanted to do Halibel, but likely couldn't. Either way, though, again, next week prediction, I'm expecting Barugan. Hoping he looks really cool. I'm very excited to see how they are going to work around with his, you know, age mechanic. I'm assuming it's going to be some type of poison effect similar to Mayuri where it just lowers the HP over time. But I'm a big fan of Barugan's design, especially his Resurrection, so I'm very excited to see how he is going to look in this game. Nonetheless, that was this week's character showcase for Rebirth of Souls Halibel. Let me know in the comments below what you like to think about her, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.